This is the Republican State of the State address. This is not a response to the governor. This is how the Republican caucus views the state of our state right now. Blake, you can come on in. And also kind of our vision, our solutions for what's affecting our state, how we can get brighter futures for Rhode Islanders. So I will begin. Good evening. I'm Patricia Morgan, the House Republican leader, and I want to take just a few minutes of your time to talk about the Republican vision for our state. There is so much to love about Rhode Island, our history, our physical beauty, and most of all, our people. Rhode Islanders want no more than any other family in the country, a place to grow their lives, work for financial security, and retire in comfort, surrounded by family and friends. Unfortunately, that is not the Rhode Island reality today, and no amount of happy talk will fix the problems. We don't want to be gloomy. We'd love to tell you that Rhode Islanders have no worries and the state is pumping out good-paying jobs. But let's be honest with one another. Our government is broken, and we can only fix the problems of Rhode Island if we acknowledge them. That will take political will and solutions focused on the common good. The data tells us that we have a lot of work to do. 1/3 of our population is on Medicaid. The most recent USDA survey found that 1 in 8 Rhode Island households cannot afford adequate food. Despite a low unemployment rate, the number of Rhode Islanders with jobs has declined on a monthly basis for 5 consecutive months and has not yet recovered to pre-recession levels. And what about those jobs? 45% of the jobs created since the recession pay less than $35,000. 1/3 of those created in the last year pay an average of only $26,500. Those are not the jobs we envisioned when we gave hundreds of millions to the Commerce Corporation. In national rankings, our business climate continues to bounce along the bottom. And all those cranes to which the governor refers have tax dollars attached to them. Taxpayers simply can't afford to buy every company a new building. And the hotels we see going up produce low-wage, not middle-class jobs. There are other thorny problems that hurt us. Fewer than 40% of students statewide met or exceeded expectations in reading, and fewer than 32% met or exceeded expectations in math. The statistics for our inner cities are worse, resulting in stunted futures for far too many children and a lack of adequately prepared workers for industry. And then there is our ever-increasing cost of living. Rhode Island suffers from the 8th most onerous cost of living in the country. We have the 8th highest property taxes and the 4th highest overall tax burden. That adds up to $8,531 for every man, woman, and child. Every year we have added another source of revenue to extract money from the wallets of hardworking Rhode Islanders. Increased DMV and car inspection fees, gas taxes, tolls, the Amazon tax, and others continue to add to the burden. Instead of fiscal discipline, our leaders are looking to the money they can get from legalizing marijuana and online gambling as cures for overspending. Rhode Island is on the wrong path. Our state was first in and last out of the recession. Without a national economy that is now seeing real improvement, our labor statistics would, in all likelihood, show little, if any, improvement. Rhode Islanders want to grow, work, and retire in our beloved Ocean State. Sadly, that is becoming increasingly difficult with each passing year. And unfortunately, under the current leadership in the State House, there is little to no hope for that to change. In fact, we are sorry to say that with things like the UHIP travesty, the impending tolls, and the increasing influence of insiders, things are only going to get worse. Our future rests on you, the people who live in Rhode Island, to help us by demanding change. Specifically, we must have the courage to confront three basic challenges in our economy: public corruption, our hostile business climate, and poor educational outcomes. So what can we do to confront these three key problems? Here are some of the solutions proposed by the Republican caucus. Corruption. To combat corruption, the Republican caucus is submitting legislation to push for more ethical and transparent government. What does that mean? We will create the Office of Independent Inspector General and allow a gubernatorial line item veto to combat waste, fraud, and abuse in state agencies. We are also sponsoring a bill to require a quarterly accounting of Commerce Corporation programs and their metrics for success, as well as legislation that would ban moral obligation bonds and a constitutional restriction on tolling passenger vehicles. Problem number 2, hostile business climate. If Rhode Island is ever to have a sustainable economy where our citizens can grow, work, and retire, it must change how we do our political business and how we treat our small businesses. We must begin to reform and eliminate the bad policies that not only have us competing with other states for last place, but which unfortunately ensure that we win that race as well. We must eliminate policies that hold down our most disadvantaged and force so many of our young and our retirees to move away simply to have a chance of living a life they can afford. The Republican caucus is submitting legislation to begin the much-needed reform, and that process to fix our state begins anew tonight. These solutions will lessen insurance premiums, electric, sewer, and garbage pickup rates, and our soaring property taxes. To combat crushingly high health insurance rates, we look to reduce the number of mandates on our premiums that make us the highest in the country. The failed reinvention of Medicaid has created a crisis in access to care. To combat it, we are proposing legislation that will help doctors stay and practice in the Ocean State. Electric rates are soaring, hurting individual ratepayers and businesses alike. We will be convening a Republican policy group to investigate all aspects of the issue and recommend solutions. My hairdresser, a small businesswoman, once asked me, "What are you legislators going to do to help small business?" I asked her what was her biggest concern. Her answer, like so many homeowners, was property taxes. Collectively, small business is our largest employer. We need them to thrive. Small businesses feel the bite of property taxes as a larger percentage of their bottom line. Our caucus will again submit legislation to begin to reduce that burden. We seek to eliminate the tangible personal property tax that foolishly taxes the equipment our businesses need to open their doors, their desks, chairs, computers, and telephones. We want to reform our broken disability pension system, train municipal officials in contract negotiations, allow cities and towns to consolidate their bonds with the state's lower interest rate if they use the savings to retire debt, eliminate unfunded mandates that drive property tax increases, and one of our members will be chairing a commission to study recycling for multi-unit complexes in an attempt to roll back the recent 50% increase in tipping fees. These proposals will lower our ever-increasing property taxes and help regular folks and businesses alike. In recent years, our budgets have covered up structural deficits by using one-time revenue that we affectionately called scoops up here in the State House. This is the practice of taking your money from electric, garbage, and sewer bills to hide overspending. Our legislation, calling for zero-based budgeting, will stop that practice. And the last pillar of our economy, poor educational outcomes. Our Republican caucus fully understands and appreciates the necessity of providing great educations for our children. It is the single most powerful way to break the cycle of poverty, help each person maximize their potential, and ensure our employers have qualified workers. As a formal special education teacher, I don't know of any educator who doesn't go to school each and every day wanting to have a positive impact on the lives of their children. We must unleash that desire by providing classrooms with textbooks and teacher manuals, joint planning time, and greater instructional freedom. Repairing our schools is expected to cost a minimum of $2 billion. Approximately half of that crushing amount will come from the state taxes and the other half from municipal property taxes. The treasurer has proposed issuing $500 million in state debt over the next 10 years. That equates to $1 billion in additional spending and additional taxes. That is not only a large bill, it is also a very long time to wait. Our children and teachers deserve healthy schools in which to spend their days. To lessen the financial burden, the Republican caucus is once again proposing an exemption to the prevailing wage for school repair. This common sense policy was used in Ohio and resulted in a 15 to 20% reduction in the cost to repair their schools through increased competition. If passed, hardworking Rhode Islanders will certainly benefit from saving $150 to $200 million, and the schools will get fixed sooner. We can't let lack of political will and insider politics continue to hurt our children. We can no longer afford to see working-age people and our prosperous retirees flee our state. The Republican caucus will continue to propose solutions to begin reforming the bad policies and practices that hurt our families and businesses alike. We will research, testify, advocate, and discuss with all stakeholders. The goal is to stop corruption, strengthen our economy, and allow businesses to grow and create good-paying jobs, and create an educational environment in which every child can thrive. Republicans have the political will to search for and provide solutions. Rhode Island was once an industrial leader. We were a prosperous state. We can be again. Republicans are leading to deliver brighter futures to all Rhode Islanders. We want each and every one of you to grow, work, and retire here in the Ocean State. Thank you.